guess I should say, giving him the attention that he so desperately craves. That's because of what he said at a gathering from Fox News over the weekend. He's opened a new and dangerous chapter in our post-insurrection world. It's one in which he fully embraces not just lying about it or downplaying it or fighting any investigation of it. He is now openly
I'll take it. Yeah. So I'll be in EDC until probably. Yep. Hey, good morning. So I sent you that email. So yeah, it looks like I can't find all the drives that were pre-crash. But I do interviews, so if we could schedule like between, I don't know how long it's gonna take you just to clear out everything. It is, okay, so I should be done between 10 to about 10:25. So when I'm done, I have a meeting I have to use it for, this has a password for Zoom. When I'm done with that, can I bring it to you? We need to do schedule or something to do that, because I gotta jump back on. Thank you. Morning, Kelly. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? I can't hear anybody. There. Jessica, can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
Morning, everyone.
Where are you?
Good morning.
Oh, I'm back in San Anselmo. I was gone for a little bit. I was on the Big Island with my family.
Oh, okay. You're not there now.
No. Hey, Dave,
Yes, sir.
did you know that Alaska Air is running a $200 round trip ticket to Hawaii, San Francisco direct to the Big Island?
Are you kidding me?
No, they came
No.
out this morning.
So are you going back?
Yeah, I'm texting my buddy when we can come back.
That's amazing. Holy cow. I think I have a companion fare sitting around too.
Hello. Hey,
Yeah.
are you able to get through?
I told Nihal and she said, just work it out.
Right.
It's like,
Oh, okay. You know what I'll do is hang on for a second. Hey, Dave,
Yeah.
I've got Scott Fay on the phone. He's trying to get through. Can you let him in? Because he's going to be the first speaker.
Absolutely. So is he, you're saying
He's
he's
717-5479.
perfect. I'll promote him right now. Oh, I don't-
Just hang on for a second. He's going to let you in.
you know, I don't see him.
Okay,
in
can
the-
you go in again? Click on the link again.
I see Richard Bergson only.
Okay, he can see.
Stamina Fitness.
Yep.
All right. He's promoted to panelist.
Yes.
Morning,
Okay,
Jessica.
Scott,
Good morning,
thank you.
Rich.
Yeah, what we're gonna do is I'll make a request to the group that we go with you first so that you have the time before your class. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay. Good morning, Rich Burns.
All right, now we have a quorum.
Okay, so. All right, we ready to roll? Okay, today is Tuesday, July 13th, 2021. I'm Jessica Rising and the chair of the Town of San Anselmo's Economic Development Committee. I'd like to welcome everyone to our Economic Development Committee meeting today. This meeting is being conducted online via Zoom. Public comments are accepted and welcome during the meeting. There are two ways for this to happen. One is via Zoom. You use the link to raise your hand, or via telephone. Running a meeting via Zoom can sometimes be challenging, and I ask staff and committee members to alert me if I've missed a hand raised from members of the committee or the public. It's important that everyone has a voice at any of these meetings that we're doing here. Just a reminder, EDC member Rebecca Bogas and Planning Director Elise Simonian are on vacation and unable to attend today's meeting. Thank you, Dave Donnery, our town manager, for handling Zoom responsibilities, and Danielle Mack, our our community director, for taking meeting minutes. I'd like to start off this meeting with requesting changing the order of the items on the agenda, and specifically request that we start off with item number 4, which is our business spotlight speaker, due to scheduling conflicts associated with the speaker. So members, I'd like to request a vote to approve this request. Can I have a show of hands of all that are in favor of starting off with our spotlight speaker? Okay.
Got the vote.
Anybody not? All right. Today's spotlight speaker is Scott Fay of Stamina Fitness Training on Greenfield Avenue. Stamina is a small family-owned gym that offers group fitness classes and personal training. He opened his doors in October of 2010. And I first became connected with Scott when delivering the open for business signs to his gym. Very touched by what he and his family were going through with trying to keep their business alive during COVID restrictions. And here to share information about Stamina and shine a spotlight on the challenges that he and other fitness type businesses are facing, even with COVID restrictions lessening, is Scott Fay. Please note that Scott will be doing a short presentation and allocate time to answer questions. And he will need to leave at 9 a.m. to teach a class. Scott, you have the floor and welcome. I don't hear any. Can you unmute?
There we go. I'm mute.
There
hi,
we
everyone.
go.
There we go.
Hi,
Sorry.
Scott.
Hi, Jessica. Hi, Frank. Hi,
Hey.
everyone. How you doing? Yes, thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate it. It means a lot. Once again, like Jessica mentioned, I've been here for about 11 years now. I've been living in San Anselmo for the last 15 years. My wife's a local teacher here. I have two little kids. So we're very local, and we love our downtown area, and you know, we look forward to it thriving here in the near future again, right? So anyway, so yeah, Jessica and I have had a chance to talk the last number of months here. She wanted me to share as far as some of the challenges and different things that have been going on with Stamina and the fitness. I'm over on Greenfield Avenue, for those of you guys that are Ormat's 40 Greenfield. So a little side access road, and there's about maybe 6 or 7 different types of fitness places you guys may or may not know, from Elan to MMA, martial arts. You know, I'm a neighbor next door as well. So we have a number of businesses along here, and yeah, COVID definitely provided some challenges for us. You know, in the very beginning, I wasn't sure if I was going to make it or not, just like a lot of other small businesses. Luckily, I had a couple clients that really stepped up for me and helped me out. I got kind of my website together, and I was able to do a lot of Zoom stuff, but I probably kept only about maybe 20-30% of my clientele. So it was definitely a big challenge for me. I really appreciate when it came to the opportunity to be able to go outside. That was a big help. And to have the space that I did, kind of being over here on Greenfield, we had some space to be able to to do our outdoor small group classes. My class sizes are usually like 5 to 10 people. It's not many. So yeah, it was something that definitely, after, I would say the first, was it 6 months we were into it, being able to go outside, I was able to kind of slowly pick back up my business. But I stayed outside the entire time. I got tents. I bought 4 10 by 20 tents, and I powered through the winter, through the rain, through the winds. We were going through sleet or storm. So it was definitely a big challenge for me and my family. And yeah, I was kind of barely able to make it through. So as far as what the future holds, I don't know. I'll be honest, I'm really scared, probably as well as a lot of other small business owners, if there's something like this happens again, whether it's a COVID, fire, power outage, earthquake, what's going to become of this? I don't know if I can make it through another one of these again. So my plans for the future, I've been kind of tossing up in the air. I don't know whether I'm going to continue this or not, but we'll see. As of now, I've been going strong, and hopefully be able to kind of keep things together and kind of go from there. So I really appreciate all the help the town provided for me with the signage and being able to go outside, and all the support, even the Chamber of Commerce. I got a check from them to help me out a little bit. That's pretty much all the help that I was able to get. And it was just me. I had to let go four of my trainers, my independent contractor. So I've been wearing all the hats for the last number of months, and it's definitely been a challenging scenario, but with a lot of support from clients and some friends, I was able to kind of power through. So yeah, you guys have any questions about anything for me?
Questions from EDC members?
I have 2 questions.
Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, I have 2. Hey, good morning. Thanks for coming. I have two questions for you. The first was, did you pursue and were you able to obtain a PPP loan? And the second question is, to what extent do you find competition from Mirror or Tonal? And did COVID affect either of those platforms? Thank you.
Yeah, those are great questions, Brian. To answer the first question with the PP loan, the problem with myself is that with the PPP loan, it was to help out with employees. I have 4 or 5 independent contractors. I am the employee. And the way that they kind of looked at it was I didn't really qualify because of that, because it was just me and I wasn't able to support independent contractors. It didn't really, I think, and you probably know more details than I do, but it was like, 70, 80% was going to go towards the employees. I probably needed more of the money towards like damaged equipment because I was outside, rain, winds, all that stuff. That's where I needed help with the money. And I really wish, and I hope to be able to kind of bring some of my independent contractors back on. Luckily, they were all in situations where they were okay financially. But yeah, that was a tough one. And then to answer your second question, with the technology stuff with fitness, that will be something for the future. You're right, Brian, because I think the mirrors and tonals and online platforms that are being created, especially with what's going on in California, extreme weather, being remote, and whatever it may be, is going to start to pick up more and more. I do know of some places that are trying to do a split and have an actual physical location and have the remote side. But I think you're right. For the future, you're going to see more and more of this people leaning towards these at-home fitness places. Is already going to be installed in hotels. You're going to go to your hotel room and there'll be a mirror tonal right inside your room. So we're already seeing that. I think the one thing that I feel like lucky, I do think Marin's a little bit of a bubble with the fitness side. People love their outdoors and really love the community side. That's really what people miss. And you guys already know that, being, away from friends or family during COVID and things like that. So the community aspect was the biggest side of it. So that's really where it kind of helps for myself. But yeah, I think technology is going to start to take over more and more, and we'll take a little bit of a hit unless we try to keep up with it somehow.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your candor and those answers. Thanks again
Frank?
for coming.
You're very welcome.
Frank, we have a question from Frank, and then Benedetto will be second.
Okay.
Frank Gomez?
So did you feel like once you started doing more social media marketing, it kind of helped with your business at all?
Yeah, and I got to give a big shout out to Frank and Stacy from Dogville. As you guys, if you're on social media or Instagram, I mean, it's funny because I didn't really get a chance to talk to Frank or Stacy. I felt like I'm kind of hiding over here, like the little brother, being like, "Oh my gosh, like these people are amazing." So, and that was definitely a factor that helped out some. I mean, the biggest things that helped me, Frank, were probably 2 or 3 things, to be honest. Number one, I was an established business. I'd been here for 10 years. I had a lot of loyal clients. If I was a new business, there's no way I could do this. Number two, I was able to lend out my equipment for people. So that made it feel like something special that they could actually do. During my Zoom classes, I made it a point to talk to each and every single person, say their name. We talked for the first 5-10 minutes, went on. They really missed that community aspect. But as far as like the advertising and different things, I think it was a great way to kind of pump people up. I did as much as I could, but honestly, I was going 24/7, working, doing everything. So my level of involvement with it probably wasn't as much as I should have, but watching you guys and doing your thing and helping out the other businesses like kept me motivated. That was a big thing, frankly, you and Stacy and some of the other small businesses were doing. So I really appreciate all that.
Good.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, so I just want to do a time check. Scott's going to have to leave at 9. Benedetto, you're up next.
I think Kelly was before me.
Okay, Kelly,
No.
go ahead.
Okay.
Kelly, go ahead. You have the floor.
Okay. Hi, Scott. Thanks
Hi,
for
Kelly.
being here this morning. Hey, I'm wondering, are you interested in talking to the town about continuing to have your outside? I know you do Saturday mornings, you're out there. Is that something that you're hoping to continue into the future?
Yeah. So great question. I love outdoor component of all of this. I think once again we've had some really nice weather. It was one of those things, actually, it's funny you mentioned with the weather side. During the wintertime, since it wasn't much of a rainy season, yes, we were in the drought side, which is terrible, but as far as for the small business, it helped me out tremendously that I didn't get that extreme weather. People could be outside. So yeah, I would love to be able to do the outside. I have the parking lot that I can utilize. The Saturday thing, I think Nick and I just kind of stopped that. We still have some space. I have a couple parking spots in front, which I appreciate you guys letting me be able to use. I hope to be able to use that in the future. People love being outside. Right now, I'm pretty much doing a split, even though I'm allowed to have people inside. I'm really doing I would say 85% of it outside. People enjoy it. Most of my business is between 6 and 10 a.m. It's pretty early on. So we get a lot of fresh air. We do a lot of outdoor exercises. So in some capacity, I would love to be able to keep that. I hope to keep that. And even, I'm sure even with like the restaurants and the parklets and stuff like that, having that outdoor area to be able to use, I think is a huge deal. I think that's a huge help for the restaurants as well. I'm sure, I know all of us appreciate it, and hopefully it's something that we can continue to do.
Thanks, Scott. Benedetto, you're up next.
Good morning, everybody. Just a quick note, after this, I'll have to leave, apologies, but we have our annual county health inspection, so that's very important. So I don't want to be rude, and thank you. I have two questions. First of all, thank you for acknowledging the help of the chamber. Very happy to do it. And
thank you.
Then we, in our survey, the real estate we did, I don't know if you could see it, we called that area Wellness Alley, because that's what it is by all means. So I was wondering if there is any cooperation, with all the other gyms to make maybe common events, concurrent more than common. So it really becomes a destination, not just for our local residents, but maybe to attract from, within the county to come there. Or not. And if it's not, if you think might be a good idea, and of course, if the chamber can in any possible way help, we'd be happy to do so. And thank you for everything.
Yes, you're very welcome. So let me get this straight. So are you talking about bringing the gyms together, Benedetto?
Yeah, you had that side, not so traffic area, and again with cooperation with the town a bit, maybe stopping traffic for a couple of hours on a Saturday morning, and to have everybody out there. I don't know, just throwing ideas around to bring people to town.
It's a great idea. The more community stuff that we can do, I think the better. I love the fact that we can go downtown during the weekend and have that shut down and have the restaurants lively outside, the other business to be there. That's a big deal to me. And then as far as with the Saturday stuff was humongous. We had a little challenge with some cyclists coming through here, not sometimes, but other than that, it was great. Myself and Nick were out here kind of doing our thing. And I've heard the fitness row before off of Greenfield. I think there's a reason why fitness is chosen over here. One, we have the space and the parking to have that. And number two, the conditional use permits, we can be a little louder and not disturb anybody downtown, and things of that nature. I love the fact that we're all kind of different along here. And I think we help support each other in different ways. And we have that visibility, Officer Francis, that people really kind of get a chance to see us doing our thing. And the more that we can get together, Benedetto, and do those things, I totally promote. I would love to do more of that in the future.
Very well. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Benedetto. Thanks. One quick question. Is there anybody from the public that had a question or a comment?
Yeah, I see no hands raised. Thanks.
Okay. Scott, I know you have to go to a class. Thank you so much for being our business spotlight speaker today.
Thank you, Jessica. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay. Let's move forward to approval of our EDC meeting minutes for June 8th. Meeting minutes were emailed to everyone for review. Are there any requests for changes from EDC members? Okay, seeing none, would anybody have a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
I think Frank made a motion.
I
Frank,
Make a
thank
motion.
you. Anybody like to second it?
I'll second.
Kelly, all right, then I'd like to put it that we vote to approve the meeting minutes for June 8th, 2021. Okay. Great, okay. So this is the part of our meeting, which is open time for public expression. The public is welcome to address the committee on matters that are not on the agenda. Pursuant to government code, the committee is not permitted to act on any matter not on the agenda unless it determines that an emergency exists or that the need to take action arose following the posting of the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and a spokesperson for an organization is limited to 5 minutes. Town Manager Donnery, do we have anyone from the public who wishes to address the EDC?
I see no hands raised.
Okay, then we will move on from that to starting off with the EDC Action Plan Program Updates section and discussion. And we're going to start off with the status update with the downtown parking study. Scott Schneider, are you ready to go?
Yes.
Thanks, Scott.
So to give a brief recap, we were working on a parking study back in 2019 and early 2020. And we had presented the preliminary draft to the EDC to get their comments. And we were working towards a public workshop followed by a council, taking it to council. And that's when the economy shut down for COVID and downtown shut down, and we suddenly didn't have a parking problem downtown. So we put everything on hold. And very recently, as of June 15th, now that the economy's opened up, we want to move forward with the parking study. So I'm working on getting some updated counts from a company that's going to come out in the next couple of weeks and do parking counts around town. And then I'll fold those in with the counts we had before COVID. And the schedule right now is to come to the EDC on August 10th to give an update of the parking study, and then have a public workshop the week of August 16th to 20th. So I'll be working with Dave and Carla on scheduling that at the appropriate time. And then I'm coming to the town council on August 24th. And I'm bringing some recommendations to the council to see if they want to act on any of those recommendations.
Okay, thank you so much, Scott. I have some questions, but any questions from EDC members? Okay, my question is there anything that we can do right now? I know that Dimitri has updated the website. Is there anything that we can do right now with sending out information to our merchants regarding and promoting and communicating out where available parking is right now before we even get into taking a look at the study results? So that, because I think my impression in talking to merchants and other people is that not everybody knows where the parking is. So is there any plan to do that? Is there anything that we could do?
I don't have any plans to do that. Dimitri has, like you said, Dimitri updated the town website that shows where our parking lots are. And Sean is working with Maribel to get some additional signage around town that points people in the right direction towards our different parking lots and additional 4-hour parking outside of the downtown core.
Okay.
And
Thank you so much.
I'll pipe, it looks like there's a couple of hands, Frank and Brian. I'll just pipe in that once we have this all approved by council, we'll be developing a map that shows everything once everything's kind of shuffled out and we know what has been approved, we'll be able to provide that information either via QR code or a small map that people can hand out.
Thanks. Frank, you have the floor.
When you say count, Scott, are you talking about count of how many spaces there are available in a certain amount of area? Or because I saw yesterday, just to be clear, I went and counted all the parking spaces in the area myself. And I happened to see somebody in a yellow vest doing the same thing.
Yes.
And yes.
So in 2019, I prepared a giant spreadsheet that showed all the available parking in the downtown core, along with its time restrictions, 2 hours, 4 hours, things like that. And that's what I used to generate all the parking counts. I walked around town. I personally counted over 10,000 cars over the course of several months. And so what we're having now is a company coming in to do what I did, but they're gonna do it in 1 week and just target it. So their first step was for them to verify all the number of available parking spaces. And as you know, that's changed a little bit since 2019. We had some parklets here and there, but we also have 3 additional spaces in front of Creek Park that used to be private spaces for the businesses on top of Building Bridge 2, and now they're public spaces on the street. So the consultant is going to be, first step is verifying all the current number of spaces, and then they'll do their counts. And they're also going to do a duration study, which I did, where they'll walk up and down just San Anselmo Avenue and write down the last few numbers of the license plates and try to get a sense of the turnover. And when I did it in 2019, I found that like over 70% of the people were parking less than an hour on the avenue. And so that was just a data point that showed that there's a lot of turnover on the avenue and much less in some other places that I noticed in my walking around and counting cars.
And also today and yesterday when I was doing this, with the parklets from, let's say, from the corner where the coffee shop is down to Ross Avenue, I counted 13 spots for the parklets. Is that roughly a trip that they're taking up on that area, roughly?
I haven't,
It's okay. I counted it, so it's 13. I thank you. So in the grand scheme of things, I was kind of surprised yesterday and today when I finished all the counts. I went out early this morning as well. So on Ross Avenue to Bolinas on the right side, you have 28 spots, left side 59. I mean, on Greenfield on the right-hand side, when you're coming towards San Anselmo, you have 73. On the left side, 65. On Sir Francis Drake, from the hub to Bolinas, you have 62, just on the right side. I didn't even go to the left side. At the Comforts Lot, you have 26, and behind me, you have 24. It doesn't seem to me we have a parking problem. It just seems to me that people don't know where to park. And my idea, and I mentioned this to Jessica, is if we did kind of like a little map of here's how many spots are here, here's how, number them like we have in Comforts and behind Keats Hall. I think that if we communicated it better to the merchants, because this is kind of a point, as we all know on this call, and just educate them and let them be heard and kind of give them, well, look, did you know that there's this many spots and it's only within one block of where your business is? Maybe, because give them a solution instead of let them always feel upset. Try to let them know, well, look at how much parking we really have.
And so that's kind of the overall theme of the parking study, is that we don't have a parking number of space issue. We have a parking management issue and trying to get everybody where they're going. And downtown's a little problematic compared, say, with downtown San Rafael, where in downtown San Rafael, if you're looking for parking, you just keep circling the blocks. And, it used to be you had to worry if you're going on a one-way street or not. And they took away a lot of one-way streets down in downtown San Rafael. But you can easily, just go around the block and keep looking for parking until you find it. Where in San Anselmo, if you're on San Anselmo Avenue and you make a right turn, and pretty soon you're on Cedar and you don't know where downtown is anymore. So it's not as easy to circle the block to find parking. But yeah, you're right. With a good parking map and good, some of the recommendations in the parking study are changing some of the hours of different zones to have more turnover. And I think with all that and a good map, that we would be able to advertise that and hopefully get people to more evenly use all the parking in downtown instead of always looking on San Anselmo Avenue first and then complaining when you can't find a spot right in front of the store you want to visit.
Well, because I have a business in Mill Valley. So Throckmorton, and there's one way. Remember, it's one way, so it's very similar to here. But they enforce the parking. I mean, diligently. I've got many $55 parking tickets there because of it. But that's my mistake. But one thing I thought about as well for this, in Mill Valley, they give us a street to park for all the employees. Because what I see being down here, and it's unfortunate that I become the parking meter down here because I just call Marin every time I see somebody parking. And it's usually an employee or an owner of a business parking on the street, just to let you all be clear and know. And they give us a big strip and it's all day parking for all the employees and employers. And we all park there because it's most important to get the parking to the people that are coming to shopping downtown.
Yeah, so to that point, years ago, the downtown merchants recognized that. And so we do have a merchant parking program in downtown where people can buy stickers. I forget how much they are, $25 or $50, and it allows them to park all day in a 4-hour zone. And so there's 4-hour zones in a ring around downtown. San Anselmo Avenue is 2 hours, and then most of the side streets, the first half of the street is 2 hours, and then the farther away it's 4 hours. And then in addition to that, there's a strip behind Creekside Pizza in Creek Park that's a merchant parking zone. And it hasn't been signed, but all the merchant sticker holders know that they can park there all day long. And so that those cars never move. And in my counts before COVID, it was always consistently 95 or 100% full of merchants who park there all day. So one of the recommendations in the parking study is to return Creek Park to customer parking and then have the merchants take another step farther away from downtown. And, you know, with the assumption that the merchants know the town best, they live here versus, you know, some customers who may be new to town and don't know how to circle the blocks and get 2 or 3 blocks away from town and walk back. And so the goal is to kind of push some of those merchants out a little farther and give the customers a better shot at finding parking downtown.
It sounds like a good plan. I mean, I'm down here every day, so I see it, and I just hope that we can get this done for the town. Thank you for all your work you're doing. I appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, Frank. Brian, you have Mayor Brian, you have the floor right now, and then Kelly, you'll be up next.
You're on mute, Brian.
Sorry, Dave. Scott, thanks for this. I expect the parking study is going to coalesce all the ideas that have been talking about like for a long time. So I'll just leave it at that, right? Like people love to talk about parking. The merchants have already been walked. But beyond that, my only comment to staff is the following: is that to the extent you're looking to have an open house, even the fact that people are now joining meetings by Zoom, August is a particularly challenging time for public engagement. And I would suggest, particularly since this August, because everyone's gone. So you just might want to keep that in terms of your town hall in the middle of August in San Anselmo, when literally no one's here. I just offer that as a concern in terms of you might wish to change the date further into the fall to engender a greater commentary from stakeholders. That's all. Thanks again.
I agree, Brian, and I just want to turn it over to Dave because one of the things that we were trying to do is bring the parklet discussion up to the council level, and the parklets kind of go hand in hand with the parking. So that's kind of why it was being moved forward in August. But Dave, do you want to discuss that?
Yeah, that's a great point, Brian. And I know the sort of inflection point in August is when schools goes back in. So maybe one consideration is that we have our public open house, in late August and bring the park. I think the parking and the parklets are an important couple of items that need to come together. So I wouldn't want to do the parklet discussion without the parking study discussion. So maybe we could talk about pushing the parklet and parking into September once we've had a chance to have that public meeting. It's a good point.
Well, look, I leave it in the hands of staff, and I'm always available for consultation and feedback. And thanks to you and Scott and the rest of your team for your work on this.
Great.
Thank you, Mayor Brian. We actually have Kelly Warner up next.
Just wondering on, I know, Scott, you mentioned the merchant program. Is there discussion about sort of relaunching that so that it's, I don't know how you guys, I guess maybe when a new business comes in town, it's probably part of the packet of information they get, but I'm wondering if we want to make a little bit of noise around it and kind of, bring it back up again, especially since Frank says he sees a lot of people parking. And then, and maybe what we could do is if we do that map of the parking, maybe we can do sort of a customer friendly PDF that we give to all the merchants so they can put it on their social media and, things like that so that they can tell their customers where to park. Like that would be a great way. I mean, we can do postcards and stuff, but by the time the people are in the store, it's a little bit late, right? So if we can try and get ahead of that and they can use it, and maybe we can put it on the town newsletter and things like that, like just kind of blanket it again. But sounds like maybe it's time to sort of relaunch that merchant program again, because there's been enough turnover that they may not know what's going on. So anyway,
Yeah.
maybe we can help with that.
I think I'm going to add it to the EDC newsletter that goes out and also include a link to the website changes that Dimitri had made with where parking is right now. So Kelly, I think that's an excellent idea. Any other questions from EDC members or council liaison?
One question, Jessica, sorry to
Right, go
interrupt.
ahead.
The only thing that we may want to think about too, because a few times when it comes to parking in the parklets, people bring up age discrimination. And for those to help with a solution for that, to Kelly's point, print up something to be able to hand to them because they may not have a smartphone or access to a digital device. And because we want to come up with solutions for any hurdle that comes in front of us ahead of time. I think that's the big thing is like, what I've seen is this, it's more of a communication problem than anything else.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah, I know we had also discussed having digital files that we could email to all the merchants where they could print out things on their own. And then also JPEGs for social media posting, as well as, where they could, a copy where they could actually email to any customers coming as well. So I'll note that down. Thank you so much. Any other questions from EDC or liaisons or town staff? Scott, you have your hand
question
raised.
for you, Jessica. So in 2019, there was 2 members of the EDC that were on the parking subcommittee that I met with to kind of go over the initial draft of the parking study. And I think at least one of those members is no longer on the EDC. And so I wondered if you wanted to put together one or two people to be on the parking subcommittee and have a little pre-discussion before the August meeting.
It's interesting that you asked that because that's the next thing that I'm going to be talking about. I've actually been interviewing, see Frank raising his hand, Frank and then Javier Fernandez about things that they would be interested in. And basically we're going to be restructuring the action plan and divvying up work and stuff like that. So we promise that you will have at least 2 co-leads that will be assisting you on this process. Obviously Frank's putting his hat in. Thanks, Scott. Dave, do we have anybody from the public that would like to make a comment on this subject?
There are no hands raised at this time.
Okay, so I'm going to close out the parking study update and everything that goes along with it. And Scott, we promised to have some help from EDC assigned to you. Okay, so thank you. Which actually is the next topic, which was, I'm going to give a quick update on the EDC action plan with assigning the co-leads. And previous members were Jamie Ginsburg and Brian Stewart, which they rolled off. And obviously there are projects that need additional co-leads. I've had individual phone calls with both Frank and Javier, and we'll be circling back again, additional work with both of them. Please note, I'm doing individual calls so that we don't violate the Brown Act. What I also would like to do is to have EDC members revisit our action plan. If you need another copy sent to you, let me know. It's also on the EDC section of the website. But please review the projects. are there any requests for changes? Is there something you'd rather be doing? And, I'm listening to what everybody's wanting to do. And so the plan is that at the August meeting, I come up with official recommendations for any changes to co-leads for action plans. Any questions? Any input? Nope. Okay, anybody from the public that wanted to comment on this?
I see no hands raised.
Okay. One other thing to report out on the business contact list, just to let you know that it was successfully updated. All of the information was taken from the newest business license information that we collected. And so we have a much more accurate business contact list, and we're going to be able to drill down to demographics. For example, Kelly, you had expressed about landlords, and we're going to be able to have a much easier time of being able to find that information. Is there one thing I'd like to do is to verify, are all the EDC members receiving the EDC newsletter? Are you guys on the Frank? Frank, I know you did not, but do all the other EDC members receive their copies of their newsletters? Anybody not? Okay. Anybody from the public that wants to weigh in on this?
I see no hands raised.
Okay, so quick update regarding the zoning changes, 3.4. This is pending at the moment. Our planning director, Elise Simonian, is on vacation, and she's been researching potential consultants to help us with moving this process forward. We'll report out at our next meeting on it. Any questions from EDC members or liaison?
I see no hands raised.
Anybody from the public?
Oh, that's what I meant.
No worries. I didn't see any hands from EDC members either. Okay, so we'll move forward then to the next item, which is an update on the Avenue program. Dave, you want to?
Yeah, I'm very pleased. Where'd she go? I'm very pleased to introduce one of our recreation supervisors. She says Danielle Mock, but her name is Maddie O'Grady. Maddie's run our special events programs for a number of years and has partnered with the Chamber of Commerce to stand up a very exciting program that will tie into the street closures. And I'll hand it over to Maddie to talk about the San Anselmo Live program.
Thank you. Maddie, you have the floor. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Good morning, commissioners and council members and town staff. Thanks for having me. Heads up, I have a sick toddler, so apologies if there's any weird noises or if I go dark for a minute. But I just wanted to give you guys a quick update on kind of how this all came to be and where we're at right now. So as you guys know, the town has done a Picnics on the Plaza series every summer, August through middle of September, 6 nights. And we were kind of in a holding pattern waiting for that June 15th date. And once that hit, there has been live music that's kind of been rogue live music that's been happening downtown. And I know the chamber kind of wanted to do something with a live music series. So instead of operating as 2 independent events, we kind of came together in a partnership, and we're looking to do 16 concerts in downtown San Anselmo, which should be rocking. We are looking to book some newer acts, some upcoming talent, some youth bands, and then some larger acts as well. So I'm working with Pat right now on kind of getting that all down. But I've got to book 16 bands in the next week or week and a half. So there's a lot of legwork that needs to be done. They're going to be between 6 and 9 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays through August and September. So that's 8 weekends in a row, 2 weekends a night. Hold on, Ellis, you need to wait a minute. And I'm really excited. So I'm waiting for our sponsor logos right now. They should have them to me later today, and then we can really get rocking on the marketing piece. It's a co-sponsorship between Eric Gelman, who sponsored the Picnics in the Plaza series in the past, and then he's bringing on a co-sponsor. His name is Jack Kammer. I believe he's a Fairway Financial Mortgage guy. So we pretty much have the entire series sponsored, which is really exciting. And our challenge now is finding suitable music for those 3 locations between Creek Park, Imagination Park, and the Town Hall Plaza. We don't want to impact the restaurants too much with loud noise, so we're looking for more acoustic sets or ambient music on the plaza and more of a large rockin' out headliners at Creek Park. So that's where we are now. I think I've got about 5 out of the 16 slots booked and some pending. But I'm hitting the ground running, and I'm really excited to bring live music back to San Anselmo. I think it's going to be a really, really fun season with the Creekside Commons, kind of the viewing area that's opened up, and it's been more accessible for people, and that place is used like crazy. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys have.
Anybody have any questions? Kelly, you're up next.
Hey, Maddie, thanks for doing this. It sounds great. Are you guys, I missed maybe in the beginning, did you say you're doing are you doing any music for kids like early in the evening or late afternoon?
That's a great question. I do want to do some kid music and family entertainment, but I am working right now on just kind of getting the larger bands booked, and that's on the back burner, but that is a goal, is to make sure that we have that available, because 6 to 9 is a good time for most families, but a lot of families with youngers would like to come a little bit earlier. And I'm thinking Imagination Park would probably be the best fit for something like that, a little bit more central. So yes, that is on the back burner, and it is a goal. It's just not on the priority list at this moment.
Right. So last weekend, that was all just people showing up. Like it was packed at Creek Park. That was not planned at all.
Dave, do you know if that was planned
know.
by Pat?
I think maybe, I'm not sure, but I think maybe Pat, who's been sort of quasi managing some of that stuff over there, may have had.
Yeah, Pat actually sends out from Creekside Park. I'm on his email list, and he was heavily promoting the bands there. So Mayor Brian, you actually, Kelly, let me go back. Are you finished?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thanks. Mayor Brian, you're up next, and then Frank, you're after Mayor Brian.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Maddie for her behind the scenes work on this event, and also a public thank you to the 2 sponsors for all the programming downtown. That's all.
Thanks, Mayor Brian. Frank Gomez, you're up.
Hi, Maddie. Thanks for what you're doing. It's going to be great. Now, with the 2 sponsors, what is the budget for the band? Is there a certain budget for each band? And then how do they cut? Like, do they give you a certain budget, and then you find the bands that fit within that criteria, a budget?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's a pretty large sponsorship since we have 16 concerts to book. I'm booking some lower level talent, some youth bands this year that might be playing pro bono for a really small stipend. And then I'm trying to get some large headliners. Typically in the past, we've done a $5.95 stipend for the bands for the picnics on the plaza. So some of the bands that are, have been returning have been asking for that. And I'm kind of in negotiations depending upon the scale and the crowd that they're going to bring.
Because it would be great, Wonder Bread 5, from Petaluma, they would rock.
Yeah, they would. And that's the goal, is to kind of get some larger, more expensive bands to really rock out. And I would say mostly in September, because August can be a little quiet sometimes. And then to book some of the smaller bands in August for a lower stipend or pro bono if they just want to get out and rock, which a lot of bands right now do want to do that.
He's a patient of ours, so I could reach out, but Wink would be able to kick in some money if you guys need another sponsor.
Okay,
So
I will
reach out to me later.
And this is being recorded. Thanks, Frank.
Sorry.
Okay.
Thank you.
Javier, you have your hand raised. Frank, did you have any more questions?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. All right, Javier, you have the floor.
Thanks. This is so exciting, man. Thank you so much for the work, and really excited to see it all come together. One thing I've heard recently, as I've just recently become involved with EDC, is the kind of what's the narrative for merchants and kind of other businesses on the avenue and around, of the kind of the benefits for them to expect or see out of some of these events and these programming. Like, how does it then kind of, obviously great for residents, we all love it, so much fun. Like, how does this then have the positive impacts on the merchants? I was curious if you have plans already, or if we're going to be tracking anything to be able to kind of tell those stories, whether it's the number of people that come down, like, are we doing traffic counting? Are we going to have any data to show like what a typical like baseline Friday, Saturday would look like versus what this is, to be able to kind of track how this is actually showing benefit to people, but also for all of us to know like how are different weekends effective or not, or what are the, so we can even keep on improving over time what we're delivering. Just curious of what you guys are going to be tracking and kind of sharing out of what you see, how it goes, or if you're planning to do that or not.
That's a great question. So we're not going to be doing any tracking of attendance at this point. This event series is designed to bring people downtown, but it also is designed to be kind of a low impact on town staff. It's going to be a no chairs and tables. Like, we're not going to be providing chairs and tables for the event or any large infrastructure other than maybe some additional garbage receptacles. So at this point, that's a great question. I think we are open to feedback and comments from merchants and the public as more of like a narrative than actual, traffic study. Dave or Daniel, if you guys have anything to add.
Well, I think I'd like to maybe meet with you and maybe Brian, Javier, to talk about what that might look like. I know you're new to the committee and to the town, but we have very limited bandwidth to get things done. But on the other hand, we have a lot of interest in kind of doing something along the lines of what you're talking about. So if there's a way for us to kind of tie I know I've already had some brief discussions with Brian about it, a way to kind of tie some of those metrics together in a way that's feasible for the town to do, I would love to see that, because just, for I've been here 13 years and, I started off as the director of community services and sort of started a lot of the special events, and didn't get a lot of participation from the merchants. Really tried hard, went in and talked about, really some of our events being merchant focused, and got a lot of pushback. There's a lot of history around here with the merchants. Frank's very aware of it. So we'd love to turn that around. Maddie and I have a huge interest in Danielle and in trying to make it work where there is benefit. It means that staying open later, like that, but just sort of to level set what we're able to do. We really don't have that kind of expertise. Yeah, but we'd love to.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, that's great. No, and I much appreciate it. Yeah, I certainly didn't imply it as like creating overhead, and more so just thinking like when we have the same conversation like leading to next summer, and like probably like thinking about for fundraising or for getting merchants on board, or if all the different kind of asset would make as we want to, if it turns out this really we want to keep on investing, just having some data and some signals to say like why we think it's worth the effort or why it's worth people's money or time. But I'd love to brainstorm with you guys on that and see if there's like low weight ways to be able to at least start creating some kind of data or talking point could be useful for us and just improve our decision making over time. So happy to help out if I can there.
That is super helpful. Thank you so much.
That would be great.
Thank you so much, Javier. Okay, I have Kelly Warner up, and then I have Mayor Brian. Kelly, you have
Hi,
the
sorry,
floor.
me again. But two things. I know you mentioned, Maddie, about the trash. I think that is something like we should really also focus on, because sometimes like on Sundays, the trash is like the crows get in there, and I don't know if the raccoons get in there, but that would be a good thing for us to just make sure we have extra cans, or if there's an extra pickup or something. So it's just one thing. A neighbor mentioned it to me and I forgot about it. But I'm also like Javier mentioned the merchants, like maybe we combine, like maybe if we're doing a push on the parking, like maybe we got to do another like big like push with the merchants and try and get them. Like, it's just such a shame no one's open in the evenings because it's mob down there. I mean, maybe we should fly a drone over and show it to all of them so they can see it. But I mean, honestly, if I were them, I would shift my hours, from 10 to 5 to at least noon to 8 or something like that, just to capture some of that. I know for some of them, maybe they think they don't see the benefit, but Frank is always open and he's got games out front. It's so smart. And then the restaurants are open, and then the rest of the town is just dark. And it's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy. So maybe because the merchants don't live here, they're not paying attention. But Frank, I was just saying that you're open in the evenings on the weekend, and it's so smart. You've got games out there. I would hope you're getting some traffic in your store, but at least you're also getting people to notice your store. So then when they come in during the week, but everything else is dark except for the restaurants. And so I would love to do some kind of push with the merchants to get them to understand that this is a great opportunity where people are walking slowly down the street and could pop in and out of their shops. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents.
Thank you so much, Kelly. Mayor Brian, you have the floor.
You're muted, Brian.
Sorry. I think Javier's point about establishing a framework for an ROI for this initiative is important, and I look forward to partnering with him and Dave initially. And the other thing is, Kelly, I understand your point, but the EDC is not all about activating private businesses, right? And so I think what the EDC is focused on in sort of partnering with town staff on this week initiative and developing a framework, that's the strength of its wheelhouse. And then businesses can decide whether or not they want to take advantage of median home value of $1.1 million, closed streets on a Friday and Saturday. I mean, right? I mean, that's really it. So I understand, but I do think, we should sort of stay within our wheelhouse, develop this framework, and then the market forces will sort itself out. That's all. Thanks.
Thanks, Mayor Brian. Kelly
Yes.
Warner, you have the floor again.
That's, my hand just didn't get, I'll take it down. I don't know
Oh,
why.
okay.
Jessica.
Yes,
Jessica, this is Danielle.
Danielle.
I wanted to comment on Kelly's comments really quick. I want to let you know that I am already working with Sean from Public Works on the trash issue because it's already been part of the conversation. And he is working on doing an extra pickup with extra cans, and we're aware of the issue and we're trying to resolve it already before the series starts. So I'll talk to Maddie more about that. So we'll stay on top of it.
Thank you, Danielle. Okay, Frank Gomez, you have your hand up. You need to unmute.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I can understand Brian's point. It's not the job of the EDC or the town, to have the businesses participate and all that stuff. But if we were to try to help motivate them to do it and show them hopefully that there's a better impact for the town, what Brian and I have talked about over the years is the merchants don't want the town to promote the businesses, because we've had conversations before over the years. What we would like the EDC and the town to do is to promote the town, which in turn helps promote the businesses, and we work hand in hand. And thank you, Kelly, for acknowledging that I stay open. I go buy all those little badminton toys and crayons and all that stuff. And, it's not much of an effort. And how I did it was I staggered my staff. I do 10 to 8, but I have somebody do 10 to 6, somebody do 12 to 8, and somebody do 10 to 7. And that's how I'm able to do it. So it's more of a communication thing. This goes to Brian and us kind of just showing them, hey, if somebody can do it. And what happens is parents come and say, thank you for staying open. It gave me 20, 30 minutes while we ate with my husband or my wife and gave us free time, which we haven't had because of COVID. So thank you for that, Kelly. And that's what we should do. I'm not saying to promote the businesses, Brian, and I know that's been something that has been a point that you brought up since you came into town. It's beyond that. It's promoting the town, a bigger picture. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Frank. I actually have some comments and questions, but before I go, is there anybody else that from our members or liaison? No? Okay. One question or recommendation, there are a lot of youth bands in the area. And, not even just within San Anselmo, but beyond, like at Marin Academy and other schools and, Archie Williams and that sort of thing. And I would recommend that we take a look at incorporating youth bands, because not only do we promote the youth, but every youth has family and friends and would most likely draw people to the area. So I'd like to make that comment. I think communication is key. I've been down there and my poor husband, I've also had him going down on a daily basis to take photos, at both ends to see, how are we doing? And it seems like when we have music, we have a lot of people. That's a big pattern. And so I think it's really important to communicate out what's going on down there to really attract people. And again, I know that it's difficult with the merchants. Some don't want to participate. But I think that if we can show success and the opportunity of what's going on, why this is different, what we're doing here, I think more people will hopefully join the bandwagon. So from an EDC level with the newsletter, we'll be making sure to include information on a regular basis that goes out to our to all the business community about what's going on, what's been great. Okay, so those are just my comments. Anybody else from the EDC that wants to speak before we turn it over to public? No. Okay. Town Manager Dave, do we have anybody from the public that wishes to make a comment?
No hands are raised at this time.
Okay, so I'm going to close out on the Avenue program. Thank you so much. And Maddie, it's really lovely to meet you. I was wondering why there were two Danielles on board.
Sorry about that. That's the link I had. Thank you guys.
No,
so
it's
much for
nice to
having
meet
me.
you.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you as well.
Thank
Thanks
you.
guys for your support. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to getting you some marketing materials and more information soon.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a partnership, and I think it really, combined with the chamber and everybody else in the town and EDC, I think, spreading out is the way to go. Okay, so moving on, up next, we have Kelly Warner giving an update on the San Anselmo San Rafael Economic Development Roundtable. Kelly, you have the floor.
Well, so last meeting, we had said we were going to have it at the end of June, beginning of July, but we determined that very quickly that it was getting really hard, A, to book people, and B, we were worried about an audience because people have seemingly fled now that things have opened up. So we determined that it'd be better for us to put it in September. So we've moved our next symposium to September, and the topic will be e-commerce and the future of brick and mortar. We've already got a couple speakers lined up, and we're just finalizing kind of all the details and the date. So I think for our August meeting, we'll have more information about that. I don't know, Brian, if you want to add anything to that, but that's kind of where we're at this point. So anyway,
Mayor Brian?
Thinking maybe we'll go to a quarterly program on that. So maybe not do it quite as often, but have it be really impactful when we do have it. So Brian, you want to?
No, I think there's there's not a lot going on there. I think you covered it well, Kelly. It was great.
Okay. Any questions from EDC members? Dave, do we have anybody with a hand raised from the public?
Nope, no hands raised.
Okay, so we will move on. I did want to let people know that we received notice from Vice Mayor and EDC Town Council Liaison Alexis Feynman that she will no longer be able to be our liaison at this point due to a change in her work schedule. So I'm not sure what the process will be for the replacement liaison to fill in. I guess we can talk about that, Dave.
Yeah, so we just, it's happened a couple times recently where, things have changed with council members' schedules. So we just go and put it back on. It's on the agenda for the July 27th meeting to see if there's another member of the council that can join us.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from EDC members?
Is this Jessica? I'm sorry. Is this item 8, request for future addenda items?
No, it was just a comment that I was letting people know that she was no longer part of our, she was no longer the liaison.
Okay, got it. I have a quick
Okay.
Update announcement at some point. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So anybody from the public that wants to comment?
Good. No hands are raised.
Okay. I'd like to thank Alexis Feynman for all of her hard work and advice over these past months. She's been a pleasure to work with and a supporter. So thank you, Alexis. Okay. So before we close out, our next meeting is going to be held on August the 10th. We can talk about requests for future agenda items, and also, are we going to be holding it via Zoom or in person? So, and Mayor Brian, you also had a comment?
Yeah, thanks, Jessica. So this is a quick comment. I probably should have put it under public comment, but this is an update which So as I've been updating you, the county is doing a county economic development plan. And they've secured money from the federal government, $132,000. So the application has been fully accepted, and I have been appointed as a representative of the steering committee. The steering committee is going to be myself, Kate Collin. There's a couple city managers, a couple members from the chambers. There's going to be some other stakeholders like Jonathan Logan from the Marin Community Foundation. So this process will probably be, I think, about 6 months to go. So as our first meeting is later on this month, as we develop, this might be an interesting opportunity for this group to, gather or provide me with some information relative to economic development in the Ross Valley, which I will communicate back to the steering committee. That's it.
Thank you so much, Brian. I'll be sure to add that to the agenda for our next meeting as well. Very exciting. Any comments from members? Any questions? Okay, so are there any requests for future agenda items? If so, if not now, I'll do a last call prior to creating the new agenda. And then, Dave, what about, are we holding our next meeting via Zoom or in person?
No, the earliest we'll go back to in person is September. The governor said that October is when everybody can do it officially, but I think we're accelerating that a little bit. Council is going to be meeting in person, this with no public in the house as a test because we got new equipment.
Okay.
So the earliest we'll do it is our September meeting.
Okay, great. All right, so any other things we need to cover at this point? Okay, I would like to thank everyone for participating in this meeting and all your efforts. And this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. And thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
You did a great
Thanks,
job.
Jessica.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
All right, see ya.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.